Hello everyone, this is Billy. I've been building this ESPBoy this week. I still recommend that you go to ESPBoy EDU. The links in the description below to order their kits with the nicely designed circuit boards and everything in a tiny unit. But if you want to experiment yourself using the breadboard to build this ESPBoy, you can follow the instruction from this video. In this video, this ESPBoy is a simplified version because we can't do the full build on the breadboard. Some of the things are removed, like the expansion ports and also the IC that controls the lighting of the backlights of the TFT. That one is also not built. Otherwise, it will function normally. Like the original ESPBoy for the game console and things like that. Only that you don't have the expansion, you can't control the backlight of the TFT. Okay, let's start. In this video, I'll focus on how to create a breadboard. For the other part of the instructions, please refer to other videos on how to upload firmware and also how to configure the ESPBoy Arduboy2 libraries in the Arduino IDE. I'll put links to those videos in my description. This is the simplified version of ESPBoy circuit. I have to remove some of the components like the charging circuit, and we only can use LIPO battery with the overcharge protection circuit inside the battery. Don't use the 18650. Those has no protection circuit, and it may overcharge your battery and explode. I will put a link at the description so you can go to the original image file of this circuit when you do the wiring. You need the following components to make this. First is the NUC MCU Mini. Then is the MCP23017. Use this type of mini board design. Try the ones without the jumpers already soldered, because we can't use all the jumper. We only need 2 rows of jumpers, one on the right, one on the left. Otherwise it can't be used on the breadboard. It's the Adafruit Neo Pixel. We just need one of them, also called WS2812B. It's a continuous changing RGB color LED. This passive type buzzer. Don't buy the active buzzer because they already have a circuitry to ring in a certain frequency. We want it to behave like a speaker, so we need the passive ones. We need this 1 microfarad capacitor to filter the DC current when it drives the buzzer, to save energy and avoid overflow of current. Optionally, if you want to control the volume of the buzzer, you need to buy this 10 kilo-ohm variable resistor or POT. Use this type of soft silicone button, so when you press and play your games, you won't hear a sound. It's unlike the tactile buttons, which give you a loud sound, and everyone in the house knows you are playing games. This type of breadboard, 2 sets of them, and connect them together to form one square big breadboard that will put all our components together. I prefer to use this type of jumpers instead of the dual-point cable because those are thick and you can't hook it up tidy and nice. So with these soft jumpers, you can bend it, you can cut it in different lengths and make your breadboard really nice. Follow what I show here to insert your components to the breadboard with the buttons and other things. So you're using this type of breadboard, remove the outermost trail, to make it even smaller. And you need to connect two of them together, one on the top, one on the bottom, and then you have to stick them to a very secure acrylic board or plastic or wood, so it won't break away when you play games. Okay, this is how it looks. Try to follow what I show here to insert your components. For the buttons, you need to solder them into the jumper first, because otherwise it won't insert into the holes. Or alternatively, you can buy the tactile buttons, which already have a long leg that you can insert into the breadboard. You can see the jumpers are soldered this way. So it will be secure, it won't move a lot even you're pressing hard on the breadboard. And then for the RGB LED, I also solder in onto the jumpers to connect the 4 terminals. We have also the volume control solder onto the jumper. Volume solder on the jumper. The capacitor I also solder onto the jumper to make it secure. Alternatively, you can just plug your capacitor directly into the holes. Yeah, the buzzer I also insert a jumper to make it secure. This is the RGB LED. I solder them into the jumper. There are 4 contact points. This is optional. It won't impact the playing of your games. Only that some games will try to light up the LED and make it extra exciting. Okay, this is the capacitor. I solder it onto the jumper. And the NUC MCU and the MCP2301 on the left. Let me show you the MCP2307 module. So the original IC is in the middle. You just extended all the pins out to the 1 row on the right and the 2 rows on the left. But because we are using the breadboard, we only need to solder 2 rows of pins. And luckily the rightest most of the pin is for the A0 to A7 that we need to control all the buttons. The B0 to B7 are used for some other function, like in the expansion port, controlling the brightness of the LCD backlight, which we decided not to use for simplicity. So we can do well with just soldering 2 rows of pins, one on the left, one on the right, and skip the one in the middle. And we have this type of jumper wires, so we can start putting in the connections. Let's take a look at the circuit diagram and identify all the ground connections. The one with the sign it looks like 3 horizontal lines. So we try to connect all of these ground wires together using a dark color, so we know this is for grounding. I connect the ground from the NUC MCU to the ground of the MCP2307, and then there's one side of the button that all need to be connected to ground. We also connect the ground to the LED and to the TFT. This is how it looks when all the ground wires are connected. Next is to connect all the VCC or 3 volts using the red wires. So connecting the TFT to the 3 volts, and then we connect the 3 volt to the LED and also to the buzzer output, that is also a 3 volt. Last step is to connect everything else using different colored wires. So we use some yellow, some orange colored wires, cut them into different lengths, to connect the rest of the components together. Make sure there's no wire jumping up because it will block the buttons and it affect us playing the games. This is how it looks when everything else is connected. Some basic checking. Check the polarity of the black and red wires. Make sure we are not swapping them. Then we can plug in the TFT. We're using the ST7735 128 times 128 pixels TFT in colored mode. Then we can plug in the USB cable with our computer and use the steps I showed in the other video to load the OTA firmware into the ESPBoy. Then you can reboot it. It will go to scan your Wi-Fi if you hold the reset button while pressing the button B. And then you can select the Wi-Fi you are going to connect to, as shown in my other video. Put in the Wi-Fi password, and then you can connect. You can then select the game to load. When you get the full menu of all the games available, just press the button, game number, and then your game will be loaded and you can play the game. So enjoy the rest of the video where I demonstrated a few games. If you like my video, please click like, subscribe, and send to your friends to watch too.